Welcome to your latest deep dive. Today, we're getting into a market that's probably closer to you than you realize, actually.
Definitely.
The global mattress component market. You got the sources there, there's a big market report, plus some news snippets on what some companies are doing.
Right.
So our mission, really, is to figure out what's powering this huge multi-billion-dollar industry and, what are the key trends to watch.
It's a fascinating area because you usually just think about the finished mattress, don't you?
Exactly. But this market, I mean, the numbers are pretty staggering. It's projected to hit, USD 84.62 billion in 2025, and it's growing.
Yeah, 84.62 billion this year. That's the baseline we're starting from. It's huge. And like you said, it's not standing still.
Okay, so where's it headed? What's the growth look like?
Well, the projections are pointing towards USD 126.94 billion by 2033.
Wow.
Yeah, quite a jump. That works out to a compound annual growth rate, a CAGR of about 5.2% over that period from 2025 to 2033.
Okay, 5.2% annually. What's driving that? Is there one big factor?
The core driver really seems to be this rising global demand for comfort, better sleep.
Comfort? Makes sense. Sounds simple, but I guess that desire translates into demand for better materials, better components.
Precisely. It affects everything down the supply chain. Material choices, technology, even where the biggest markets are.
Right. So speaking of markets, geographically, I'm guessing it's not spread evenly across the globe.
Not at all. North America is the current heavyweight. It holds the largest share right now, something like over 40% of the global market.
40%? Okay.
Which translates to about USD 31.31 billion in 2025. Now, their growth, looking ahead to 2033, is projected at a more, let's say, moderate 3.7% CAGR.
And within North America, is it mainly the U.S.?
Yeah, the U.S. is the dominant force there. We're talking USD 24.7 billion, growing at about 3.5%.
What's keeping them strong?
It's a mix of things, really. Constant innovation in, mattress tech. Rising disposable income helps people are willing to spend more for good sleep. E-commerce has made buying easier. Plus, there's a growing focus on sustainability and definitely a demand for those premium high-end mattresses.
Right. And Canada and Mexico?
Canada's market is about USD 3.76 billion, but growing a bit faster at 4.5%. Again, that premium mattress demand is a key factor there. Mexico's at USD 2.85 billion with a 4.2% growth rate.
Got it. So North America leads in size, but maybe not the fastest growth. What about Europe? How does it stack up?
Europe's another huge piece. Over 30% of the global market, that's roughly USD 24.54 billion for 2025.
Okay, quite significant too.
Definitely. And their growth is pretty steady, projected at 4.3% annually. A lot of the same drivers as North America are in play: premium bedding demand, health awareness, income levels.
But anything unique to Europe?
Well, there seems to be a particularly strong emphasis on advanced materials and sustainability, both in the components themselves and how they're made. The hospitality sector is also a big buyer, and e-commerce is strong there too.
And within Europe, these standouts.
The UK is showing pretty strong growth, 5.1%. Germany's solid too at 4.5%. Both seem really focused on those advanced materials and sustainability trends we mentioned. France, Italy, Spain are significant too, but maybe slightly lower growth rates.
It's interesting how those themes, quality, health, sustainability, keep popping up in these big established markets.
Absolutely. It's clearly what consumers are valuing more and more.
Okay, let's shift focus. What about the Asia-Pacific region, APAC? Often a hotspot for growth.
And it definitely is here too. APAC holds around 23% of the market currently, so that's about USD 20.31 billion in 2025.
Okay, smaller share than North America or Europe right now.
True, but the growth rate is where it gets really interesting. Projected CAGR of 7.9%. That's the highest of any major region.
Nearly 8%. Wow. What's fueling that fire?
A lot of factors converging. Major urbanization happening across the region. Disposable incomes are rising, creating a larger middle class with purchasing power.
Right.
The hospitality sector is booming in many areas. Plus, APAC has strong manufacturing capabilities for these components, and online retail is really taking off. And like elsewhere, that growing awareness about health and good sleep plays a role.
Which countries are leading the charge in APAC?
China is the biggest market by far, USD 8.53 billion, growing at 7.4%. But India really stands out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, starting from a smaller base, about USD 2.03 billion now, but it has the highest projected growth in the whole region, maybe even globally for a major country, 9.8% CAGR.
Almost double-digit growth. Incredible. Definitely one to watch.
For sure. Japan, South Korea, Australia, Southeast Asia, they're all seeing strong growth too, well above the global average.
Okay, that paints a clear picture of APAC's dynamism. What about the other regions? South America, Middle East, Africa? They often have smaller market shares overall.
They do, but their growth stories are important too. South America holds just over 5% of the global share. That's USD 3.22 billion in 2025. But it's growing at a healthy 5.9%.
Still above the global average.
Exactly. Again, urbanization, rising incomes, demand for better bedding, hospitality, healthcare. It's a familiar story in some ways. There's also a noticeable preference shift towards foam, latex, and hybrid types there. Brazil and Argentina lead the way.
Okay. And the Middle East?
About 2% share, USD 3.38 billion, but growing even faster at 6.5% CAGR.
Faster than South America. Interesting.
Yeah, driven by strong demand for premium and even orthopedic mattresses, high disposable incomes in key areas, and obviously thriving hospitality and tourism. Think Saudi Arabia, UAE, Turkey, Qatar.
Right. The luxury hospitality sector there must be a big factor.
Definitely. And finally, Africa. Currently the smallest share, around 1%, about USD 1.86 billion, but expected to grow at 5.5%.
Still solid growth.
Yeah. Urbanization, a growing middle class demanding better quality products, real estate development, hospitality, plus increasing local manufacturing and foreign investment in some areas. South Africa and Nigeria are key markets to watch there.
So the big picture geographically is North America and Europe are the giants now, but the fastest growth, the real dynamic expansion, seems to be happening in APAC, followed by the Middle East and South America.
That sums it up pretty well. The growth is definitely shifting eastward and southward, relatively speaking.
Okay, fascinating regional breakdown. Let's pivot now to the actual components. What are we talking about when we say mattress components? How does the market break down that way?
Right, so the report looks at it a few ways. First, by the overall type of mattress product. Here, foam mattresses are currently the biggest segment.
Just the standard foam?
Well, various types of foam, yeah. It's likely because they offer a good mix of comfort, they're often more affordable, and they adapt well. Memory foam, polyurethane, those sorts.
Okay, so foam leads the product type. Anything growing particularly fast?
Yes, the hybrid mattress segment. That's where you combine, say, foam or latex layers with an inner spring system.
Ah, the best of both worlds approach.
Exactly. And that category is showing the fastest growth. People seem increasingly drawn to that blend of contouring comfort and underlying support. Then you have traditional inner spring and latex as other categories.
That hybrid growth is telling. Okay, so if we drill down even further, beyond the mattress type to the individual components inside, what's leading there?
Well, mirroring the product type dominance, foam components themselves are the largest segment.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and it covers a whole range: polyurethane, memory foam, gel foams for cooling, polyester, convoluted foams for airflow, even things like Evlon foam for resilience.
So much variety just within foam.
Absolutely. Their versatility is key. You can achieve different feels, support levels, address pressure relief, temperature, and they're often cost-effective, especially basic polyurethanes. They're also crucial in those popular hybrid constructions.
But what about the springs? Are inner springs still relevant?
Oh, definitely. Inner spring components are actually seeing quite rapid growth too, especially the more advanced types like pocket coils.
Pocket coils.
Yeah.
Why the growth there?
They offer better motion isolation so you don't feel your partner moving, and more targeted support compared to older Bonnell or continuous coil systems. They're also a key part of those fast-growing hybrid mattresses. Durability and cost-effectiveness are still factors too.
So foam is the biggest component category, but advanced inner springs are making serious gains, particularly pocket coils.
That's a good summary, yes.
What about other things like latex or fillings like wool or cotton?
They're definitely part of the market. Latex, both natural and synthetic, caters to a segment looking for that specific feel, resilience, or natural origin. And fillings like coir, wool, cotton add specific properties: breathability, moisture wicking, extra padding.
But not the main drivers.
According to this analysis, foam and inner springs are really the core components driving the volume and the major growth trends. They form the fundamental support and comfort systems. Ticking, the outer fabric, is essential, of course, but maybe less of a primary volume driver in the component market itself compared to the core materials.
Got it. The guts of the mattress are primarily foam and springs in various forms. Okay, one more segmentation.
Always size.
Does mattress size impact component demand significantly?
It does, yeah. Currently, the twin or single size accounts for the largest demand for components.
Just because there are so many of them?
Pretty much. Think homes, kids' rooms, dorms, hostels, hotels, hospitals. They're everywhere. They're affordable, space efficient.
Okay, makes sense. But is that the fastest growing size?
No, interestingly, the fastest growing segment by size is the Twin XL.
Twin XL. Longer than a standard twin.
Exactly, about 5 inches longer. And the demand is surging.
Why?
Primarily driven by college dormitories, it's become the standard there. Also shared living situations, smaller urban apartments where a full or queen won't fit, but adults want the extra length. Even hotels and healthcare are using them more for flexibility.
Huh. That's quite specific. So dorms are driving component demand trends.
It seems so. It reflects changing living arrangements, smaller spaces, but still wanting comfort. And advances in materials mean Twin XLs are getting better too. Memory foam, hybrid options are available.
Fascinating how demographics and living trends ripple down to component demand like that. Okay, we've sliced the market by region, product, component, and size. Let's talk dynamics. What are the big forces pushing this market forward overall?
The report highlights a few key drivers. Number one is definitely that ongoing consumer focus on sleep comfort and health. People understand sleep is vital now.
Right, it's not just a luxury anymore.
Exactly. Second is the constant innovation in materials making things more durable, more supportive, cooler, you name it, and crucially, more sustainable.
Sustainability again.
Yes, that's the third major driver. A clear and growing preference among consumers for eco-friendly, natural, or recyclable components. It aligns with broader trends, obviously.
So, comfort and health, material innovation, and eco-consciousness. Those are the engines.
Pretty much, yeah.
Are there things holding it back? Any brakes on this growth?
There are some potential restraints, yes. One is rising expenses, raw material costs, energy, labor, which can squeeze profit margins for manufacturers and potentially slow things down a bit.
Standard business pressures.
Right. And the other is the intense competition. It leads to price wars sometimes, and this constant pressure to innovate, while good for consumers, can be challenging for companies to maintain stability and fund continuous R&D.
A delicate balance then. Innovate but manage costs, all while competitors are doing the same.
It's a very competitive landscape, definitely. You have major global players, regional specialists. It's dynamic.
We actually have a couple of specific examples of that innovation you mentioned in the sources, don't we?
We do, yeah. Spring Air International, back in April 2021, launched their Breathe collection. And a key feature there was using components with antiviral and antibacterial properties.
Wow, very timely.
Exactly. A direct response to heightened health concerns using material tech innovatively. And then there's Kingsdown, who updated their Sleep Smart Air mattress in May 2020.
What do they do?
They integrated voice control via Amazon Alexa and Wi-Fi connectivity, so you could adjust firmness, track sleep data potentially, using smart home tech.
Voice-activated beds. It really shows how far things are moving beyond just springs and foam.
Absolutely. It touches on that trend towards smart mattresses and integrated technology.
Okay, this has been a really thorough exploration. As we wrap up this deep dive, what are the absolute key takeaways for our listeners trying to get their heads around the mattress component market?
I'd say, first, recognize the sheer size and significant growth projected. It's a massive global market. Second, remember the regional variations. APAC is the growth engine right now, even if North America and Europe are currently larger.
Got it. Size, growth, regions.
Third, component-wise, foam is dominant, but hybrids and the advanced components in them, like pocket coils, are growing really fast. Fourth, size matters. Twin XL is the fastest growing segment, reflecting lifestyle changes. And finally, the underlying drivers. It all comes back to consumer demand for comfort, health, and increasingly sustainability. That's what's pushing the innovation needle.
So the big aha moment here isn't just about the final mattress, is it? It's realizing that the parts inside the foam, the springs, the fabrics make up this incredibly dynamic, complex global market all on their own, driven by how we live, what we value, and the tech available.
Exactly. It's a whole ecosystem beneath the surface.
Which leaves us with a pretty interesting final thought, doesn't it? If we're focusing so much more on sleep quality, on health data, on smart homes, how might the very idea of a mattress component change in the future?
That's a great question. Are we going to see embedded sensors become standard components?
Yeah.
Or if new bio-based materials that actively regulate temperature, maybe materials that biodegrade completely?
Could be anything. What new tech or material might just completely shake up this established market down the line?
It really makes you think. It'll be fascinating to watch how sleep tech and material science continue to evolve and potentially redefine what goes inside our mattresses.